let's see. Third and fourth line fighting related stuff. I guess maybe you won't see it isolated. You might see it in the context of something else. But okay, so here's the story that I'm interested in. Let's do it this way. Just add a black stone. So we agree that this white stone is completely dead, right? There's no question.
Yeah, there's no way.
Like white's obviously dead. Nothing to even talk about, right?
Right.
We recognize this pattern as death.
Correct.
So the question is, what happens when you move this one line up? Here. So, the name that I learned this with was Maeda Method, named after some guy named Maeda who apparently just taught a bunch of people in the U.S. when I was in the U.S. and people started to name it after him. It's got several different names. I've heard people call it Tower or some silly thing like that. I don't actually know what the name of this is, but it's basically third and fourth line capture patterns. So it's basically, the basic question is, what happens to this white stone? Right?
Right.
So, the quick answer is, white is not captured, right? White can extend, black here, white goes out, black here, and white cuts. And black connects and white dies, and white's out, right? He can capture the second line stone.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So I mean, this so far this is not special. You cannot capture this white stone. I mean, you might be able to capture it in a way like you extend this way and then, you make sure white doesn't make two eyes or something. But this isn't the kind of capturing sequence that we're talking about. The kind of capturing sequence that we're interested in is sort of you squeeze it, you run it out of liberties. It's really important in fighting, for instance, if you have one of these cuts, that you're not going to try to do something like this and try to take white's eyes this way, because black's just got too many problems, right? You got to kill white fast. Right?
Right.
So this is not the kind of, long-term killing is not what we're looking for. We're talking about, here we go, I lost where we go. Here we go. We're talking about killing white immediately. So this is the sequence that we're interested in, is when black gives this honey. And we've already seen that this just doesn't work, so why are we even talking about this? Well, we're talking about this because there's some cases when it does work, and basically the cases when it does work is when white can't cut here. Right? If this move was impossible, then white would be dead.
Right.
Right? So, what could black have here to make this move impossible? Well, for instance, what if there was already a black stone there? Right? So, here's the situation. We have a black stone already here. Right?
Yeah.
So, now, if white extends, he dies. Right?
Yeah. That's the difference.
Right, that's the difference. He's dead. Right?
Yeah.
So, here, at triangle, we're going to call this 1. Now white is dead. Right?
Interesting.
So, we're going to go back to this variation. Aside from J3, are there any other spots where black could have a stone that would solve this?
I guess a J4 could probably work too.
Yeah, Right, J4.
Yeah.
So, we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to say black has already a stone at J4. Right? And white extends. We're back to white. Boop, 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 boop. And white's dead. Right?
Right.
Okay. And, is this the only place? There's another choice. So, the issue when white cuts here
maybe
You don't necessarily have to prevent white from cutting, because if black, if this wasn't Atari, that also wouldn't be, it also would be solved, right? Because then this is just Atari and white dies.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's good enough for black to also have a stone
Like a K4, I guess.
at K4.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So K4. Right. So, we're gonna go back here again, and we're gonna place the stone at K4 again, where it extends. Boop, 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 and this cut's no good. White just dies. Okay. So, whoop, whoop, whoop. The last one, there's really only a few of these shapes that you need to know, and I just generally try to memorize them. Just like you can make a list of them because there aren't too many. So we're gonna go right back to this shape, and the last one is when black's here, right at H3. At H3, I'm gonna put a little bit of an asterisk on. This is a little bit different from the others. Okay.
All right.
So I'll explain why it's different. So there's a stone here, right? This isn't the right position to put that stone. Here we go. There's a stone here, and white's turn. Now, it looks perfectly the same, right? It looks like white just dies. But here's the difference, is that this is usually in the context when there's a cut. When there's a white stone here already.
Oh.
Right? Usually this is about, you're fighting from this crosscut shape, right? In some sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Like,
that's fair.
Yeah. So you're fighting from this shape, so usually, when you see this in practice, there's often going to be a white stone here. And in this case, so let's... right now, white's turn? No. There we go. Make it white's turn. Here we go. When white extends here, so we have this cut at A that we've actually solved, but there's another one at B. And that's just double Atari.
Yep. That's bad.
So that's why this one is not quite the same. Right? Because this one is not robust stuff that's going on sort of almost on the other side. Right?
Yeah.
So oftentimes the shape that you want to remember is, you might want to remember that's a problem, but you can also just remember this shape. That's good enough. So in this case, white extends, and this cut is no longer double Atari. You can just connect here, and white's dead.
I see. Yeah.
Okay. So, also, almost obviously, black can have, like, some second line stones. These will also do it, right?
Right.
So, the shapes, the points that you have to remember, which I'm going to just put squares on. We got 1, 2, 3, and sometimes 4.
Does it matter which side it's on? If it's on like the left or right, or?
Right. So this is actually the question we're going to ask. What happens if it's on the other side? Well, actually, when white extends, this position is completely symmetrical, right?
It is.
So black guy who chooses which side white has to run to, right? He could block here, or he could block here. So either side works.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's good.
If you got a stone here, this also is plenty because you just block on the other side.
I see now.
Now this is a very common theme in Go. You have some extra strength on one side, and you play on the side that you don't have the extra strength. You play on the opposite side. Right? So black has some extra strength at triangle, and when white extends, he doesn't play on the same side as he has this extra strength. He plays on the opposite side. This is the correct side to play on. Now, this theme, I actually wanted to mention this theme Because you've probably seen this theme before and just didn't realize it. So this is a very common ladder sort of shape, right?
Yeah. I can
And
see
black can capture this stone in a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking to, you're looking at one of these two Ataris, A or B, you notice black has a bit of extra strength at square, right?
Right.
And you play on the side that doesn't have that square stone.
Hmm.
You play on the opposite side from where you have that extra strength.
Guess you're like pushing them into your strength in a sense.
You're pushing them into your strength, which you will notice is exactly the same thing as we were talking about here in Maeda Method. You have some extra strength, and you're making white go towards that extra strength.
Hmm.
Now, this is a theme that happens not only in, like, basic tactical stuff, this is just a sort of a general principle in Go. You play away from your strength, you push your opponent into your strength, you make your opponent fight with your strong stones.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is actually basically the meta method. Now I'm going to just show you some practical examples like of when this stuff happens. So let's just look at a crosscut, a straight crosscut. Find a good move for black in this position.
Okay, so I guess we talked about like Atarying is like the first step.
All right, so you give an Atari, but that doesn't capture, right?
Oh, because we don't have the setup stone.
Right, we don't have it.
So I guess let's extend like H4.
So H4. So H4 maybe is not a maybe that's an okay move, but you're gonna get into this fight. It's not.
Hmm.
So extending is the right idea, but that's not the extension I wanted to show you. The extension I want to show you is L3.
Hmm.
What's the difference?
It's on the third line. It's supposed to be the fourth.
This is just a very basic tactical idea.
Right.
You're threatening a ladder here, right?
Oh, and then if he does that, I see now you go into what we just talked about.
Well, this is dead.
Yeah, I see now. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So you're threatening to kill two stones,
Hmm.
and that's it. It's a very, very simple system. Now, white can get out of this. So you can get out by giving this Atari, and then you extend on this side.
Hmm.
Because this stone here is a ladder breaker. But this is not fun. White never wants to do this. For instance, if black just extends here, if white plays here, then this is a ladder. So there's lots of problems with trying to do this.
Right, yeah.
And the reason there's problems with this is white's trying to defend weaknesses on both sides. Right?
Yeah, and black's pretty thick. I mean, it's not like white's gonna do anything.
Right. So in general, this kind of extension is really good.
Gotcha.
And
I see the difference now.
Yeah. Right. And you often see this kind of thing in corner crosscuts fighting like this. And you'll see often that black extends here.
Right.
And so we'll talk about light corner life and death later. It's actually possible for this stone here to live. But you do it at the expense of the outside stone. You have to do it like this. And then black can capture here. But, if white tries to fight with this, you just kill this stone. This is just dead.
The same tactic, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same basic idea, right? So I'm going to show you an instance in Joseki. Now, this is something that I've seen strong players get wrong. Let's just put a random black stone here. So this is a very messy Joseki called the Taisha, and you probably never in your life will ever see this. Well, there are very few strong players who play this anymore. This used to be extremely popular. Sort of 19th century Go is completely full of this. But 20th century on, almost never. So this is the Joseki here. And I want you to tell me what you would play with black.
Black. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Well, I know, like, for a start, like, the Q14 stone is pretty much dead, so there's no reason to just capture that. I mean, You have the ladder
Right, this stone
breaker
is dead.
before, so that.
Oh, okay, right.
Or
You're
I was
saying
talking
this
the
stone
Q14 is
you're gonna
dead.
hold.
R16
Right.
also looks pretty dead, so I don't think we can save that.
Right. These are both dead. Good.
I
That's
mean,
correct.
I know like Chris actually has been showing me like in these positions you can like wedge and then pull back to make some like cutting points. So like an O17. But I'm not sure if it works. It's kind of messy. You have like an empty triangle.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's think about what you're actually doing in this position, because you're basically giving up all the corner, right?
True. Well,
So you get this corner, so you want to establish a position on the outside. So
oh, I
you
see.
sort of might want to play something like here at some point.
Oh, I see. It's a S14 to threaten to capture, and he has to move.
Yeah. So S14 you threaten to capture, and then you're going to play out here.
Yeah.
This is the wrong answer.
Oh, really?
Expected you to give.
Dang.
Okay, so this is the answer I expected you to give, but it's wrong.
Dang.
So we're not using what we just learned.
Okay.
So S14 threatens to capture these two stones by playing A.
Right.
Are we clear on that?
Yeah, that was my thought process. So he has to
Okay.
respond.
So is there a better way to do the same thing?
Oh, I think is S16 the move?
S15,
Or
that doesn't...
S16? Sorry.
S16. Well, S16, unfortunately, this is Atari.
And then I guess if you fill, then he's just
Then you just die.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. This is tough. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So the solution, you actually said it and you just missed it. You just capture here.
Oh.
So yes, this stone is dead in the ladder, but right now, if you just do this, and you stretch out to here or something, white has all sorts of ladder breakers around here that can be a pain in the neck. Right? This can be a pain in the neck. You have to capture here maybe, and then you can get up in trouble in the corner, right?
I see. Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter exactly what's in that corner. It means you just got this weird aji you have to worry about for a long time. If you just capture, so I'm going to continue to use the term Maeda Method. This stone is a Maeda Method. You're threatening, if white does nothing, if white plays, something else, you're threatening this. This is exactly one of the spots. This one here is one of the spots for the third line capture sequences we just looked at.
And it's
right?
not Atari anymore too because we captured. Like
Right.
when
So white still has to play here. Which means that this captured Sente for you, and you get this very thick shape. Now you don't even have to play here if you don't want to. This is optional.
Interesting. Yeah, I see. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I see the difference.
Yeah, now this is actually a very common theme. Let's try some other shape that's similar. We have sort of, let's see if I can make something up. Here's white extending up. No, that's not what I want. I want here we go. White's got this, black's got this, and you got this. But, let's do this right. No, not quite. So black's got this Atari, white's extended down. And say this is mostly white's area here, right?
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's sort of white. This white spot is sort of the triangle area is sort of whites. Let's add some white stones there. White's got some extra stuff. Sort of that's sort of white's area, and black's trying to find a good move to get some influence or something in the triangle direction, right?
Okay.
So the first move you're probably going to be thinking of is this one.
Right.
Right? And white plays here, and then you're going to have something over here. And you got this really bad cutting point.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's rough. You don't want it. Is there a way you can do this without leaving that cutting point?
Let me think. I mean, maybe like, I guess just like connect up like N4 or even like O4 to make like a tiger mouth, I guess.
Right, and both of these work. Both of these work. And they're exactly the same point as when you descend here. They're exactly the same idea. They're also threatening to capture the square stone, the triangle stones, by playing square. It's the exact same threat.
Huh.
Right? When you play here, you're threatening to capture these triangle stones by playing square. That's the reason you play here, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you play here, you are also threatening to capture these triangle stones by playing square. It's the exact same threat. If white does nothing, then you play here and white's dead.
Ah.
Right? So this is exactly a third line capture sequence. This is exactly what we just started this lesson with, right? It's the same tactic over and over again. And this is the same, right? White does nothing, you descend here, and white's dead. Right.
Oh, hold on. I think my thing crashed. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. I think.
You're back. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
And just, technical detail, you don't want it this time, but this also works. Right? This also makes the same threat. You don't want this one, because you still have a cutting point, right?
Ah, yeah, it doesn't change that.
But it does work. It does make the threat. Which would be, for instance, pretty useful, though, if white already had a stone. There's a white stone here, then I think this would be a pretty good move. You see why that's a good move? White
not fully.
can't defend this stone that's bumped. Right? If white plays here, you capture him.
Oh, I see.
So white has to play on the other side, and you get an extra tempo against the stone.
Okay. Yeah, that's more clear. I see that.
Right?
Yeah.
So, again, this is the shape that we're actually looking at here, really, is it's just basically this same shape again. Right? And white's got these cutting stones, which is what I said was going to happen sometimes. And now, in this case, when white extends here, we're actually getting this position sort of in media res, right? We're not. We already have white having extended already, but it's the same. It's the same spots, right? These ones, and remember how I said that this square one is a little bit different because oftentimes white has a cut here.
And I guess like if hypothetically, black does play N4 at this point to connect, and then white plays L2 he says I want that stone now, then I guess that could be considered like, okay, now I just take the outside, and that's a fair trade.
You can play here, or it depends on what's going on, but you can play this kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. This is a little better than having done it this way, because there's this cutting point that you've gotten rid of.
Okay.
Yeah. This cutting point is actually like if white Atari is in place here, then white has a really strong Tsuji in this position. If white extends here, then A and B are Mie.
I can't save both.
Right? Yeah, you're busted. Actually, so A is probably a better move, but just so you know that this is the exact same tactic again. When white plays here, these two stones are dead because white has this one.
Yeah.
It's the exact same shape.
It is. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is why this is like this makes all these third and fourth line fighting positions like if you understand this basic. I'm going to keep calling it Maeda Method. I don't care. If you understand the Maeda Method, suddenly all this third and fourth line fighting stuff is actually it's surprisingly easy.
It's Mito, Mito.
Maeda. I'll write it in the Discord. Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
Maeda.
Maeda.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Go there's a lot of people in Go who have been named Maeda at some point. There was a guy who was teaching at the American Go Association who was a pro who was named Maeda something, and this method got named after him because he was saying that you memorize these spots. That you memorize those shapes.
All right. Yeah.
That's why they call it his name. There's also Maeda Nobuaki, who is sort of infamous in Go history. Do you know about the game of the century and Go Seigen and all that stuff?
I know of the name. I just haven't gotten into looking at it.
So the story is that sort of the Honinbo Shusai was the world's strongest Go player according to basically everybody. And Go Seigen was the young guy who came from China, which was a big deal because Go was always happening in Japan. And Go Seigen came from China. And he was the guy that, was starting to beat everybody. And they set up a game with Shusai. And they played for a while. Go played this ridiculous stuff that no one believed was playable, like starting at star points and stuff. That nowadays is normal, but it wasn't then. At one point, Shusai was stopping the game every once in a while. He would go home and study it, and then come back and continue playing. And there's one move that's like a key move that changed the game in Shusai's favor. And everyone said the prevailing theory is that it wasn't Shusai's move, that it was his student that came up with it, whose name was also Maeda. He's Maeda Nobuaki, who was actually a pretty significant Go player on his own right, but he's mostly infamous for having come up with a move that someone else played.
Interesting.
That's the short version of this story. It's an interesting, some of Go history is full of some amazing stories, but that's not what we're learning today. We're learning about actually playing the game.
It's a cool story, though.
So
I like that.
Yeah. So anyway, the basic theme, is just these shapes on the third and fourth line. And lots and lots of third and fourth line fighting happens all the time. This is these sort of cutting points. So let's just see. Here's something you might see. This is a position that'll happen a lot of time, and black will attach here, and white will play here, and black will cut.
Okay.
And this is a position you'll see. Let's see. You'll often see this kind of shape. Say if black has a 4-space extension like this, and white will play this kind of invasion.
Okay.
And this turns out to be sort of the wrong spot to invade. And the reason it's the wrong spot to invade, you actually have to invade here. We'll talk about that at some point, how to pick these invasion spots. But this happens to be the wrong one, because black will play here and cut. And the problem with this cut is the location of this stone. Right? Because white's going to have a lot of problems with any kind of sequence like that. And black does not have this kind of problem because, right, well, it's just the way, well, whoops, I'm this way. Why have I got the wrong color? Oh, here we go. Yeah, even this way, it's very hard for white to fight that in this area. Right, and it has to do with a lot of this. The shape I want you to sort of look at is how how in this fourth line, in this extension, this stone is in the right spot. Right? You can actually also go this way, in this case. This stone is also in the right spot.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it has. There's a lot of these sort of applications relating to a lot of third and fourth line fighting. Like this is the wrong invasion spot, and you can see how this stone affects that, right? Both of the triangle stones actually have an effect on that, but it's mostly like the point that white doesn't have any kind of capturing sequence, and black does, right? Because the square stone is exactly in the right spot for that. And all of these things are just extremely mysterious until you're able to just sort of glance, see, you know, the moment you play here, you know that white is captured. Because black has the stone right here, and you don't have to read any deeper.
Okay. Yeah.
You can look into white playing here if you want. Like this is something you might worry about. White escaping is not a problem. Right?
Yeah. No, I'm starting to see it now. Yeah, what you're talking about.
Yeah, you just recognize the shape. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they sometimes feel abstract when like you have like the pieces of it, but as soon as like you do a move or two, it's like, oh, it's exactly what we just talked about.
Yeah, right. So here's something that used to be a common Joseki. It's fallen out of favor. Like nowadays, instead of playing it circle, everyone's playing around triangle, right?
Usually, yeah.
But you can still totally play this. And black invades. Let's say black invades here, which is the wrong spot.
Attach under, right? Crosscut. Yeah.
So you attach under. And you crosscut, and what's the keystone that makes everything work for white is this one. Right?
Okay.
Black can't break through, right? If black tries, black is missing any keystone, right? So if black just tries to do this, black falls into pieces.
Yep, that doesn't work.
Right, that doesn't work. And black, but on the other hand, black goes here. White does have the keystone.
I see.
So this is the wrong spot to invade. You have to invade here.
Because I guess if you like flip it up where he attaches under and you crosscut towards the center, it's not really at all the same thing because you can't capture like before.
Yeah, this is, so the move here for black that we should actually at some point talk about invading free space extensions because this is really common. The move here for black is this one.
Oh.
Or extending here, one of these two. So the reason why you don't do this is because when you do this and you play here and white extends, you could have basically just played here directly. This exchange, A for B, it's bad for black. It helps the triangle stone. You're gonna play here eventually, right? This was your plan when you played A? So you just skip that exchange and play it directly.
Huh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this is. But actually, we can go into some sequences a little bit. What if white plays this and you extend, and let's say white goes here and captures this. And this stone is captured. Right.
Right.
Well, no, not that one. Let's try this one. So black should obviously play here. What am I doing? No. Let's say white does this. There. This is a mistake from white, but it's not actually so obvious what to do about it. So this triangle stone is still captured, right? You can't actually escape with it.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dead. So what do you do though?
Hmm.
So you cut here, right?
I guess you could like make a ladder for the K4 stone.
So white extends. So you could make a ladder, but is there something better?
Hmm. Something better.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This is the same thing we've been talking about this whole lesson.
Oh, just like maybe like
Maybe we'll make
extend.
black a little bit stronger here. I don't know, like this. Right. So now find it. So what move did you say?
Maybe extend like a J3.
Right. This also threatens this move. This and this both threaten this move, right? Your first instinct might be this, and then playing the ladder, right?
Right, but that's not what we want.
But we want this, and then you can capture with a net, and that's not susceptible to any kind of ladder breaker.
Ah, it's just better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better, right?
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I'm starting to see it. That's pretty
So
cool.
it should be clicking, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, we've gone like really deep into examples of how you apply this.
No, it's
but
helpful.
basically-
It's good. Yeah, I'm all about it.
But I mean, the basic theory is just just recognize the sort of right. Just recognize this shape, right?
Right.
When what kinds of this shape, this shape, this shape, and this shape, and I'll make this one a square because it's a little bit different, right?
Right.
Right. So, just, I think sort of a moral here is that very frequently, you got something like blah, blah, blah. When white extends here, just be very suspicious of ever descending this way.
Right.
Just almost no matter what it is, just be very suspicious of that. Not because that's bad, but because often one of these moves is going to be better. It's just very, very often the case.
It almost feels like you want to threaten something, but it's like when you like connect, it's like, oh man, I feel like I'm just like backing off for a moment and giving white the chance to strike. But I see how it's like necessary, and you can't think like that.
Yeah. So oftentimes, let's see. So there's a common sequence if black plays here. Instead of white capturing here, you might see white do this first, and then capture. Usually the idea is that white wants to peep at A later.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I got some more Joseki related versions of this. So these are patterns that actually get played. Here. Here, this is actually a Joseki pattern where both players make mistakes. So white here, black here, and find. It turns out that this is actually not a good move for white, but find what looks like a good move for white.
What would probably be a good one? I mean, I guess if I was just playing a fast game, I'd probably just go like S14 and not think about it,
So S14, this is actually probably better than the move that I was hoping that you might mention.
Oh.
So this
Maybe you can
this
extend.
fight's a bit of a problem. This is a common Tsuji here. Black makes Miai.
What was the funny move you were thinking about?
All right. So again, we're thinking about white's trying to play a move to capture these stones.
Oh, just like on the outside, like S12 or whatever.
Right. Well, it's not going to be S12, although probably S12 is still better than the move that it looks like you should play, which is this one. And I think level players will, if they haven't seen this position before, will all probably suggest this one.
Protects the cutting point, makes some shape. I can see.
And it's a shape that you recognize, right? It's you play here to capture these stones on the.
It's a tiger mouth. It's good, right?
Oh, no, you play here to capture the stones on the
Yeah.
on the third line. This is a shape we've been talking about this whole day.
Yeah, I was just, yeah.
Right? I actually wanted you to find the wrong move. Don't worry about this. Is actually like White's kind of busted here. Like this position, actually, White doesn't have a good move.
Ah.
There is no good way to play for White. But if you want to see the really fancy refutation, Black here, White here. Well, actually, you probably want to do this first. Then Black here, White here, and then there's this totally awesome move here.
Fancy.
This is just awesome. Right. And when White connects here, you go here,
Oh.
and White just dies.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty.
But, right. So this is not something, this is way above, this is not at all part of this class. But probably the right move for White here is just to do this. And just give Black, this stinks. You have to do this.
It's no good.
No, it's not good, but it's probably better than the alternative, which is just death.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, I wanted you to actually find the wrong move because this is a very good step towards what we're talking about today. Is the same third and fourth line shape
Yeah.
that you're using to capture the square stones, and they are captured.
So maybe just like connect to like Q12 then? Would that be wrong?
Connecting at Q12 is similar. I mean, in practice, has the exact same problem.
Right.
Right, but there is no good move here. White is busted. This is a mistake from White. This move here is bad. This Q15 is bad, but don't actually worry about that. The correct move from White, interestingly, is just to cut, and you might actually come up with this cut if you know that this
The supporting
is
stone.
the right
Yeah.
cut to try to capture the square. Now, again, this is a shape that I don't actually expect you to be able to play this in a real game viewer. This is much more advanced than what I'm trying to talk about in this class. But I do want to sort of see what the meaning behind the shape is, right? Why you might think of cutting here. Right? Because you're thinking about this. Right? Of how this stone almost is in the right space.
Right.
Right? And it doesn't completely work the normal way because Black's got a cutting stone here. But actually, if Black plays this way, he depends on a ladder, whether Black's dead or not. This is the same Tsuji we saw a couple times. Black is here, and you got these two moves.
Yep. One or the other.
Right. And again, we should know why B works, right?
Right.
It's again the same shape.
Yeah, just B and Hane. That's it.
Right? And it's really important that this stone is here to threaten to capture these guys. Right? If that stone's not there, then White has the Atari.
Right.
Now, you could also capture them this way, but that's not the theme of this class. This is actually probably a better way to capture them, although it depends. Depends a little bit.
Right.
Because if for some reason you really don't want White to be able to play here, then this would be better. Nah, White can play here anyway. You still have to do this. So yeah, it makes no difference. There might not be. This might actually just be a better move. But the point of the class, the class I'm teaching right now, is that the point of this shape is that you recognize this, and you understand that White died because Black had one of these spots. Right. Yeah. Right. White comes out here and capture it. So, but if the ladder doesn't work, then the story is different. Yeah. Probably the best move for Black here is actually to do. You want to do this first, and then this. something like this. No, there's multiple errors getting made here, so I don't want to get too much into the details. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's basically the theory I wanted to go through, and I want you to, like, in games, try to be less afraid of picking fights on the third and fourth line, and see if you can use this shape. Sort of try to understand when you're threatening to capture things on the third line very quickly. I think probably at your level, you should be able to win a bunch of fights just knowing this. Just like, again, not very deep reading, right? It's not about reading, it's about recognizing the shape. Maybe a little bit sort of knowing what to read.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So, also, we were supposed to be finding things that you have questions about, and I will look at, like, a game or something. Do you have one ready?
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up a game.
All right.